Hello and welcome to another session of Zephyr Training. I'm your host, Jeff Radovan. I'm here joined by the co-founder and chief marketing officer of Onerent, Mr. Chuck Hattemer. Chuck, how are you doing?
Hi there, Jeff. Doing all right? And early morning for me.
What time is it where you are?
It's just hit 5 a.m.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you for being up at the butt crack of dawn here at 5 a.m. to join us. And I understand I'm calling you from the Philippines. Is that right?
That is correct. That is correct. We've got a part of our business is supported by an awesome team here in the Philippines. So that's where I am and going to be here for a couple more weeks.
Fantastic. It's my homeland, as many people know. I want to get back there sooner than later. I'm about 6 years removed from a trip, so I got to get back soon.
I'll bring
So,
you some mangoes.
oh yeah, yeah. Good luck getting those through customs. I mean, we'll see. I'll take them absolutely. So, the OneRent is a new platform for us. Chuck, can you just set the table? Let us know exactly what OneRent is.
Sure. So Onerent is a technology-enabled full-stack property management service. So we handle the entire life cycle of rental properties, from leasing all the way through maintenance and tenant management. And we've integrated a lot of technology along the way to kind of give more control back to owners and to their properties.
Got it. Got it. So for a real estate agent, if they're just getting a look at the platform, what's kind of their interest in the platform?
Yeah, so for real estate agents, we're partnering with agents so that a lot of agents who offer leasing or management on the side as a way to maintain relationships with clients can actually offboard all that operational work to OneRent and save a ton of time and hassle, focus on their core business. Plus, they can actually earn a revenue share, so they earn a percentage of our leasing fee as well as a percentage of our recurring monthly management fee. And we keep their brand and their name engaged with the client throughout the entire process, so that if the client wants to sell, we send them right back to that agent. We're not in the sales business whatsoever, and we have a lot of tools that help the agent better represent themselves to a client who maybe wants to become an investor.
Fantastic. Okay, cool. So I understand you're going to take us through a demo of the product. And basically what we're going to look at today is how to refer one of your clients to OneRent using a cool onboarding tool that I got to look at recently that involves SMS. It's a really simple process to get them a comp report as well as an estimate, how to interact with that report and view it within the platform, and how your client will use the actual OneRent product itself to track the performance of their rental property in terms of maintenance, the leasing status, and so forth. So Chuck is going to jump into a screen share in just a second. So just want to say, if you're joining us for the live stream, we appreciate you joining. And if you have any questions while Chuck is stepping through OneRent, just go ahead and enter your questions in the chat box to the right side of the video player, and we'll either interrupt them where it makes sense, or we'll save it to the end if it's a more general question we can get to towards the end. So, Chuck, with that, I'm going to throw to you to go through the
Awesome.
product.
Well, here we go. Cool. Well, thank you, Jeff. And I'm going to go ahead and go through some of these initial logistics. So first of all, this is just a simple kind of doc that we're providing for agents that gives a lot more context to the logistics and benefits of this partnership. There's also a link to this document in the video description if you wanted to check it out. It'll allow you to sign up as a partner, give you some more materials, both for yourself and for a client who may be interested. So with that, we're going to go ahead and jump into some of the product. So first of all is kind of how to onboard a client. So one of the big feedback points we got from a lot of agents was, oh, I want an easy way to refer my client that doesn't involve me downloading new tools or apps. So we have a few different ways that you can do that. There's really three different ways that you can do that. One is we give every agent that partners with us a co-branded custom landing page. So we've got one here for Tanya from Zephyr that we're working with to help out any of her clients and her team's clients. So basic landing page that kind of goes through some of OneRent services, our experience and background, and then a really easy way for a client to actually just go ahead and get started right on their own, and they can just fill out their property information and get a free rent estimate and comp report, and set up their OneRent account right away. And no matter what way you onboard a client, we will always have a personal touch to it and reach out as a member from our sales team to make sure that all questions are answered and that they're set up for success going into the process. The second way is just a very simple form here. All of these links, once again, are in that agent onboarding kit, and there's a description of how to use them. This form is, some agents don't want to force their clients to go through some tool to set everything up on their own, so they just want to do it on behalf of their client. So this allows agents to fill in all the information about the property, the address, the property details, and tell us, hey, I want to send my client a rent estimate. Now, the third and final way is something pretty cool that we're working on here. And as Jeff mentioned, this is kind of a SMS-based chat bot. We call it the Rent Bot. And what this does is it allows a real estate agent, if you're on the go, as many of you are, day to day, let's say you're on the way to a listing presentation and, this client may want to turn their property into an income property. So you want to get a comp report, a rent estimate. So with a simple number, it's 415-663-2525. And again, all of this info is in the doc. You can actually just send a text and say, hey, I want a rent estimate. And within a few seconds here, you'll get a reply back saying, hey, you want a rent estimate? Go ahead and send us the address with this format. So I'm going to go ahead and send the address of my property that I want a rent estimate for here. Boom, just like that. And what that does is now it goes into our back-end system where we are actually going to be hand-picking comparable listings that are similar to your client's property, both in size, location, and spec. So this isn't just a Zillow Z estimate. This is hand-picked with real comps. So as you can see, it's going to take a couple hours here, but I'm going to, kind of accelerate the process. We don't want to be waiting around that long. And what we'll be able to do here is really transition to the point where your client is actually going to be able to start interacting with OneRent. And so let me go ahead and generate that comp here. And now we'll get a text back here any second with the comp report. If that happens. All right, well, you'll get a text back with the comp report here, and you'll jump right into the comp, which does allow you to go ahead and see what those comparable listings are, as well as what is the suggested rental range. So, there we go, just that comp. So it'll give you, here's your comp report and a link there. Took a second. So
and just to confirm there, Chuck, you're just texting rent estimate and then the property address. Looks like that's it, right?
Exactly. So what we're doing is on the back end, we are using things like the property title records to really fill in the details. If it's on Zillow or any of these other sites on the MLS, we'll fill in the bed, bath, square footage details and get some of the specs to the best of our abilities. If for whatever reason we don't have enough information, we'll reach out again via text to collect that.
Makes sense.
So here we've got this property on 5th Street that we're doing a comp report right here in Soma. Here we've got the all the basic details, as well as suggested rental range, the median and mean of all similar listings nearby. So you've got a map here. We always want to look for properties kind of within as minimum as a 1 mile radius, and then if we're not able to find anything, maybe if you've got a larger property, we'll expand it out there. But again, you get a level of granular detail. And then when you come down here is, again, one of the things that makes OneRent really unique from a traditional property manager is that we actually give a lot of the control and decisions of what's going on with the property back to the owner. So, if you're at a listing presentation or you're strategizing with an owner about what the rent should be, that decision is up to you. We're not just going to rent it and you never know, who we rented it to or for how much. You get to set that rent. So based off of our recommendation, you've got a competitive strategy, an at market or an aggressive strategy. You can use this slider here and just set that rent. And you can always come back and change it later if necessary, but this gives you the ability to make that decision on your own. Next is you'll actually be able to set up a face-to-face meeting. We all know, property management is a very, face-to-face business, and we're in no way trying to get rid of that, even though we're, some big scary tech company. We really value the face-to-face interaction, and that's the first step of your client getting started with OneRent. So they can actually schedule time right here with our field operations specialist, who's one of our local representatives who's on the ground. And they can do that by selecting a few times and requesting an onboarding, just so that they get that inspection done. During the inspection, we will check the habitability, the rentability of the home, and we will also take photos as well as a 360-degree tour to prepare the listing. Underneath that, you'll be able to see all of the competitors and all of the listings that we pulled for the comp report. And what really makes this special, again, is that these are handpicked. And so we're really looking for properties that match not only the location, the size, but also the specs. And we've actually put here the exact links to where these properties are from. So, we're looking at Craigslist, Zillow, Trulia, any site that is going to be a popular site to list on. And we give the client the ability to really click out and see, okay, is this property really a comp? They can tell, and this is a real live listing of a property nearby. So that level of kind of customization and personalization really sets this comp report apart from some of the more automated ones. And then lastly, you've got here the historical rents. So if you want to understand from a more macro perspective, how my property is renting compared to historically, through our partner Rentometer, we built this tool where they can see, from the past few months or past year, how similar properties nearby have rented and for how much. So you can really see, okay, should I wait another year or should I just go for it? So that's really this is essentially the gateway for an owner to get started using OneRent. And what we'll transition to next is what happens once they get started, and what they start interacting with, when they get into the leasing process. So the way to do that is through our owner dashboard here. We've got the owner dashboard as a way to, once again, expose all the data of what's going on with the property, really make it transparent and easy for an owner to understand and make decisions. So right off the bat, you'll notice this graph here that shows all of the data around the number of views, inquiries on your listings, the number of people signing up for showings, the number of applications. So this allows you to track, the status of the property during leasing. And let's say one of these numbers is flatlining and you're not getting any results. This allows you to make proactive decisions and kind of strategize on how to adjust your strategy so that you avoid further vacancy costs. So it's a really powerful tool, and even things as like updating the listing or going back to that comp report, that can all be done right here on the dashboard. Now, we take that a step further as well when we go into maintenance and once someone is living there. So here's a an owner who's got quite a few properties here, and when there's maintenance coming in, that can be a hassle. Traditionally, if you're working with the manager, maybe they just fix it. You have a threshold. What we do is we actually keep the owner involved every step of the way. So, for example, here we've got a maintenance issue that the dryer is a 3-prong plug. It's not fitting the outlet. That's 4 prongs. So this is information that the tenant has submitted directly to our maintenance team. They can either call them 24/7 or they can use the online portal to submit the information as well as images. So, let's look here. Okay, they've got the 3-prong plug. We see that. Okay, the outlet. Okay, that looks a little permanent. Looks like this might be an issue with replacing that whole outlet. So as a property owner, you can actually open up the comments here and make direct commentary towards what your decision may be about how to resolve this issue. So, hey, they should actually connect a different power cable to their dryer. The stuff inside the wall cannot be changed. And then our team will communicate back to you, hey, we've confirmed that we'll take care of it in that way. And we'll send out your handyman to have the right cable attached. And one really interesting part of that is the keyword your handyman. So a lot of property managers use maintenance as a revenue center to generate additional income. We don't charge any markups or anything on our maintenance work. So we give owners 3 different decisions to make each time there's a maintenance request. Number 1, down here at the bottom, they could say, hey, I would prefer to use a OneRent vendor. We use licensed, insured, bonded third-party vendors. And with one button, they can click accept, and we dispatch the right vendor for the job and let them know the estimate of the work. Otherwise, they can say, hey, I would like to use my own handyman vendor or home warranty, and OneRent will actually coordinate on behalf of you with that vendor of your choosing. So that gives you, once again, that control and flexibility. And then thirdly, because this is not directly a habitability issue, they do have the option to just say, hey, this concern will be left as is, and OneRent will be the ones to deliver the unfortunate news. But that's, of course, if there's a habitability concern, that won't be the case. So the last thing I want to go over is the ability to track the income and expenses. So one important aspect is really knowing, what the income and expenses are on your entire portfolio, being able to have that data ready when it comes time for tax season. So we track all of the maintenance expenses, all the income, all the rent management fees right here in the owner dashboard. And we even do, have the invoices, direct invoices linked to, so that any owner can come in here and click on this invoice and have the invoice ready to go, to download for their own records. And, that invoice is straight from the vendor. Again, we don't mark anything up, so it's just straight from the vendor uploaded to our system for download. And, you can get the details of the expenses. You can download the full ledger, hand it over to your accountant or whomever you need to. So that covers really the dashboard and what we have today in the dashboard. It's it's simple, it's straightforward, but it's powerful. It gives owners the ability to have that control, and we have a lot more in the pipeline for this in the future. So we're really excited to build off top of this. And one of the ways that we're building on top of that, a little teaser, is something we're working on called portfolio services. So as I mentioned, OneRent is unique in the sense of our partnership with agents allows you to keep your name and your brand engaged throughout the entire life cycle. So in the next 4 to 6 weeks, we're going to be launching portfolio services, which is a part of their dashboard where a owner can actually interact with the agent who originally referred them. So one thing they could do is, if an agent, if you have any market updates or any content that you'd like to surface with those clients, you can do that right here in the dashboard. Let's say that you have, let's say you have you want them to contact you. So they can actually do that as well. If they want to, buy or sell a property, they can just reach out to you right there. And then you'll notice, we have some other interesting partnerships in the work around some value add services. So once again, keeping you in the loop every step of the way, that's really our goal there. And that's going to be coming down the pipeline in the next few weeks or so. So that covers the dashboard and everything. And once again, that onboarding kit is the best place to get started. You can fill out a little simple Google form to get your co-branded landing page. And then actually today we've just launched a new Facebook group called Badass Real Estate Professionals, which is it's, I know a lot of agents are in a lot of real estate groups, but this is quite different. We actually expose a lot of the tactics that we use to grow our own business, which we've done, 0 to 1,000 properties under management in about 2 years. So we share a lot of those tactics, and we're really excited about building a community there. So that covers the whole kind of OneRent product and tools. And thank you, Jeff, for putting this together. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for being on. We really appreciate it. If you have any questions, looks like we got a couple of viewers in the live chat. Go ahead and enter them in the chat box as we're wrapping up here. Do have a question about this link that we added into the description today, Chuck. It's onerent.pro/agent-onboarding. That's in the description of the YouTube video. What'll they get if they go to that link there?
So that'll take them right to that agent partner onboarding kit. So just a simple Google Doc that kind of describes the process, gives them links out to more information, as well as downloadable materials for both sending to their clients, as well as describing the partnership in more detail. So that's where you can actually sign up as a partner and get started.
Got it. Okay, great. So Chuck, again, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for your time. We want to have you on again in the future, maybe when Portfolio Services is up and running. That sound good?
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited for it, and open to hearing from any agents who think of any other ways that we can drive some more value for them.
All right, so that's great. Everyone, appreciate you taking the time to tune in today. Feel free to leave a comment, like, or subscribe. The YouTube spiel. Just go ahead and tune in next week when we'll have disclosures.io on as our guest, and we'll see you next week.
All righty.